Check, 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 check. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's what I'm talking about. A little bit of that. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Broadcasting live from Hypercube's Sub-Basement 27, deep here in the heart of the former capital of the fumer. Tonight we're talking about fumers and femurs and lemurs and all kinds of stuff. It's time for the show! I'm Dr. Fox, your lovely and gracious host, as always, sitting at a bizarre angle, trying to figure out what is the right triangulation that I need to achieve here. I'm not lining up. Peace, you're over here on the side window, and I've got to look this way. How am I supposed to do this? I don't know what I'm doing anymore. It's episode 171 of Time for the Show. And, you know, you can lead a horse to prune juice, but you can't make him drink it. Pease, what are we doing this week?
Well, we're declaring as we do as a nation, victory in Afghanistan.
Once again, I'll give it this. Where's my triple horns? Everything got moved around. The last technical director changed all my carts. It's radio slang.
Herculean effort, we were able to airlift 125,000 poor souls in the last 7 days in the largest logistical military maneuver ever performed since D-Day. So hats off to the Air Force and the Coast Guard and whatnot that did all that allowed us to have that great logistical win. Because when it comes to logistics, folks, There is no country better than the United States of America. We can go in a scant 2 decades, destroy your entire infrastructure, rebuild a new one, and then destroy it again and leave you a bunch of weapons. So you'll be fine. We're good. And
we have a recurring, we have the recurring ability to do that.
This weekend at the Kabul Soccer Stadium, it's ladies' night. So bring a lady and get a goat.
Don't tell the ladies what's going on behind the curtain. Not a good time. It's fun. Good. Yeah. Great way to bring the show up this week, P. Let's start on the uppers. I'm going to move the microphone more this way. Now there's all this negative space on my screen. This was easier on radio. These newfangled machines, these damn kids and their Monopoly boards. I don't get it. This is frustrating. How are we supposed to do a show?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I know. It was just kind of a rhetorical question. We could
just out to the
man. If only we had something to do, like bits. Like if we had some bits to do on the show, that would be pretty good. Which I guess that means we'll just go to my favorite part of the show. Come on, Flux.
Sketch comedy.
It's Cube News, all the news that's fit to Cube. And this is the last week of August, which means, of course, the first week of September is right around the corner. So you're all going to be paying rent this weekend. So why not scrape all your Taco Bell change out of the couch and go out to the Funhouse in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, to catch Rubik's Cube, Subgenius Musical Stars Extraordinaire. I'll be there. I'll be traveling courteously. I'll be traveling with Curtis Slow and up to Bethlehem, and there will be a little Subgenius hoedown while we're there. Ferg from Triology Soaps will be there. Dr. Cosmac might show up. And Rubik's Cube is going to be there. So, that'll be at the Funhouse in Pennsylvania. Meet Dr. Fox.
I installed software systems at 6 local newspapers there in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
The birthplace of our Lord.
No, not really. You'd think so, but no. It's they just named it that because they were trying to get in good with Jesus and stuff. Hey, look, we named our whole town after you. But
I don't get it.
No.
Well, Jesus. Well, where else could Jesus have been born? He's our greatest American.
Well, I'm pretty sure that he was born
I think
in
he was
Mexico.
born
That's
in
why-
Atlanta. All right, so
Look at his name. Look at his name. He's got to have been born in Mexico.
Texas.
Maybe Texas. It's possible. But Texas was part of Mexico when Jesus was a baby.
He was
in
Mary and
Mexico.
Joseph, not Mary and Steve. You know. Come on, Peas. That's biting political and religiosical
good one.
satire.
Cultural. Yeah,
What?
I get
We're
that.
breaking cultural. I'm breaking the English language. I can't talk tonight. I've got a mouthful of donut and sugar water. I am. I'm ready to crash.
Like, I expect that joke to be Steve and Steve, but when you did it and said Mary and Steve, the only difference was the guy's name, and really the whole parentage of Jesus is called into question to begin with, the whole virgin thing. So my Catholic brain kind of like went over his.
Well, we never hear the story of like Jesus's stepdad Earl.
Yeah.
You know, he just kind of filled in for Joseph when he got called away to, I don't know, in the Great Whittling Wars.
Carpeting emergencies.
Yeah, and or you know, Jesus's weird Uncle Hank. You know. Oh man, that guy. He had way too much fun at the money changers table.
He's the one
Hey,
who taught
Jesus,
that
Jesus,
trick with
come to the-
wine.
Come to the wool dyeing. Jesus, come to the wool dyeing factory with me. Just you and me, Jesus. It'll be great. And Mary'd be, never go anywhere with your uncle, especially the wool dyeing factory.
I had a kid in high school told me once that Jesus killed somebody and brought them back to life. Like he pushed them off the roof. But this was in like do you know what I'm talking about?
The apocryphal
I
book.
do.
You're all good
It's
Catholics,
it's
right?
a book that's left out of the Bible.
Yeah, the
Anne
apocryphal books.
Rice.
They didn't.
Anne Rice wrote a little bit about it because she actually did a 3-novel
Inventor of rice.
series about the life of life of Jesus, and it was much more encompassing because she includes some of the Gnostic Bibles, some of the apocryphal. There's a lot more about Jesus that they decided we should know about.
Yeah, I
And a lot of
want
them-
baby Jesus taming a dragon.
Yeah.
I want that story. Where was that story? That would have made Sunday school so much more rockin'.
Sunday school is already pretty rocking. I mean, when you're 5 or 6 years old and you find out that there's an all supreme being who can grant your every wish and also has decimated the human population multiple times over the pettiest stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, don't forget, you know, Moses tapped a rock in front of talking to it and everybody got sick. So, you know, the shame on you, Moses. That'll teach you. He's like, my
Show
bad,
off.
everybody. My bad. God told me to speak to the rock. I tapped it. Oh. What was your favorite part of Bible school, Peas?
Well, see, I went to a Catholic school for a good part of my parochial years, and I had
Parochial
religion class
years?
every
Stuff
day.
with cream cheese
Well, I
and
went to
chives?
a parochial school, which is a fancy way. I went to a
Louisiana
private
style.
religious school. Yeah, I went to St. Mary's Star of the Sea in Oceanside, California.
Star of Deceit?
Yep. No, the Sea.
Oh.
St. Mary's Star of the Sea
La Mer.
Parish in Oceanside, California. And I had, my Monsignor Clavin was in charge of the whole school. I was not popular with the nuns. I was not beloved by them as I am now by the Church of the Subgenius. They felt perhaps Jesus wanted me to have some extra physical instruction repeatedly from time to time.
Did you get the ruler piece?
I got all this stuff, man. I got all this stuff. I got all the good things, man.
It
Yeah.
made a better man out of you, Peas. Did you
Yeah.
get
I
get
got
any
the-
funny hats while you went to when you went to school?
No, it wasn't Japan. We didn't wear hats.
No hats.
We did have uniforms.
Well, what were you
though.
supposed to do when you met a lady on the street? What were you going to tip to her?
He would just like do a mock tipping because it's the 70s and everybody knew what that meant. When
Everybody had a hat in the 70s.
See what I'm
I don't
doing
have a
there?
time
You can
machine,
see it
but
on
I have at
YouTube.
least 2 R-Crumb comic books, so I know exactly how everybody in the 70s looked.
Yeah, here's the other thing you could do too. You can go like this.
Now that seems kind of 60s because that seems like a Happy Days kind of thing.
No, but it did. There was
You know, I got to do
every
that.
day
I got to do that to the Fawns once.
with the wink. You got to do it with the wink. Hey, boom.
I bumped into the Fawns when I was working on cruise ships, and I was teaching line dancing to seniors, and I remember doing a slide and a hit of the jukebox and an A right over to the Fawns. He was right there. He just looked me in the eyes, and then he picked up his drink and left. Yeah, mission accomplished. I outdid the Fawns. There was nothing he could do. I mean, we were literally on a cruise ship over hundreds of sharks. He jumped one. I got thousands. So I am the Fawns. In fact, I'm as cool as 2 Fonzies wrapped together with, like, I don't know, neon tubes and asbestos. I'm that cool. I've claimed that now. That's not right. I had more cute news, but I forgot what it was.
All those
I should
girls,
write notes. I used to do that.
All those girls were a cover. Him and Ralph were lovers. Everyone knows that.
Ralph lovers?
Everyone knows the Fawns and Ralph Malph were lovers, and the girls were just a cover. And you know that's just how it was. In the 50s, you had to cover up your love of Ralph or Arthur, as he liked to be called, the Fawns. So they butched it up, and it didn't seem like they were gay at all, but they totally were.
Yeah, they didn't seem like they were gay at all. No, the kid in the sweater vest and the guy in the leather jacket hanging out all the time. Not questionable in the least.
That's 70s butch, dude. You can't.
Yeah, but it's the 50s. It's the 50s.
But it's broadcast in the 70s.
Yeah, so
under the guise
automatically,
of what people
there's
in the
my
70s
problem with the 70s. Like, they had to hone in on nostalgia immediately. Wow, you remember 20 years ago? Let's do a show about that.
No, they didn't. They said, remember 20 years ago?
Same thing with
like,
MASH.
Yeah, well, let's do a show
Yeah, but MASH
loosely
was
based
good.
on that. Because, dude, the fucking Cunninghams were always doing all kinds of modern shit they didn't have in the 50s.
There were
fucking Arnolds, the motorcycles, for God's sakes, as long as that show was on, all of them went to college. They had grandchildren that went back to the damn place. Joni and Chachi. So
Joni and
they
Chachi
should do it now.
bombed.
America,
Happy
sweetheart.
Days is us talking about the like 2011.
It was, well, Happy Days is a great time capsule for the 50s because it's like the best 50s television that was never on. Because
Yeah.
other than like I Love Lucy, everything else sucked.
Yeah.
Everything
Oh, come
else
on.
sucked.
You didn't like Leave It to Beaver? I thought Leave It to Beaver.
Leave
was
It to
awesome.
Beaver, I think I like for different reasons. You know, that is a surreal fucking show. The sheer amount of bathroom scenes. Because up to
every
there's so
serious
much.
conversation is in the bathroom.
Yeah, all of these. Yeah, every serious conversations in the bathroom. I think it was one of the first television shows to feature a toilet on screen. And you know, that's pressing times. I forget when the Flintstones aired, and I 55, maybe
No,
maybe
Flintstones
later
gotta
than
be
that.
60s.
60. That 65 maybe. That seems too late because they started in black and white. But I believe the Flintstones featured the first time on TV that a husband and wife shared a bed.
Yeah, that was
That's
in our
correct.
trivia packet.
Was it the Flintstones though?
Yeah.
Because I've heard other arguments against that.
No, well, I Love Lucy eventually did, but on their
their next show, because Ricky and Lucy had separate beds.
That's right, they did.
They had separate beds, so it wasn't until like they did like the color show and they moved into the house.
When they
later.
moved into the farmhouse.
Yeah.
You didn't
like
see their
way
bedroom at the
later.
farmhouse. And somehow Ethel and Fred are working the farm for 'em. They went from being the vassals of Ethel and Fred and renting an apartment in Ethel and Fred's building to somehow moving out to a farm in Connecticut, and Ethel and Fred are now their slaves.
Okay,
That's
so
Cuban privilege piece.
That's a
So,
success
the
story. It's an
Flintstones ran
American success
from
story right
1960 to 66 was the original air dates.
For what? The Flintstones?
Yes,
What years?
60 to 66.
60 to 66. But when would the episode be? Anyway, I forget where we got onto this point on. But yeah, a lot of that. A lot of that.
A lot of that.
I remember my first Fred Flintstone. Hell of a man. Hell of a man.
We were being nostalgic about the 70s, trying to be nostalgic about the 50s, but it wasn't really the 50s. It was just some kind of weird, twisted 70s view of what the 50s was.
It was that 70s
then-
show for the 70s.
Yeah, no, I think that 70s show, it was a much more accurate portrayal of my 70s, at least.
And when was that produced? The 90s?
That 70s show?
No, this is 70s.
Yeah, that was like... Well, no, he's asking about
76.
air dates,
When was it
came on
produced? When was
TV.
that 70s show
Yeah,
made?
late 90s.
Because I think it
Oh,
corresponded
90s, yeah.
like, because it ran for a while, and I think they did it like every season was a different year, right? Because they were getting older and they were progressing.
They ran it long enough to replace people on the show.
It's a good
Like
sign.
Foreman left. No, the best sign, you know your show's going to be long-lived when they introduce a kid and a dog.
Yeah, then you
show's
got
on
nowhere to go but up from there.
Yeah.
I know that was that cousin Oliver?
Yeah.
Pease, you kind of look
Yeah.
like a grown-up cousin Oliver.
Even All in the Family ended that way, with they added some new kid, and you're like, well, this show's done.
Yeah, well, they did it to Star Wars. It totally happened to Star Wars. They brought a little kid in. Everyone's like, okay, I'm fucking done. Yeah. Okay, not everybody. Apparently, it was good enough to make 6 more fucking movies.
So that 70s show was 98 to 06.
98 to 06.
So we are due for a 9/11 nostalgia pretty soon. I would
That
think.
began immediately. I mean, there's already been movies on that. I mean, it's 20 years. What in 2
not
weeks?
movies.
20 years
I'm talking
ago.
a situational comedy about the beginning of the century, starting with Y2K, leading into fucking the Twin Towers, 9/11. That'd be sweet. And then it's just uphill from there, you
That'd
know.
be sweet.
Then the Afghan started. But it's a situational comedy, like we bomb Afghan and be a guy tomorrow. Yeah, well, we're gonna give those fuckers some of what they got coming, aren't we? And it'll be so awesome because it'll be all nostalgic and shit. Remember when we were gonna kick their ass?
Well, we kicked a lot of asses around. I mean, we spread it out. I mean, it was.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
There's
pretty
a
much. It
whole
was pretty much.
swath of the
The
earth
Middle
where
East for the
every
past
man,
20
woman,
years has been
child
America's
hates us.
biggest game of pinata. Just put on a blindfold and start fucking swinging, but stay the fuck out of Pakistan. Don't go over
There's a
there.
whole swath
Don't go
of
to
the earth
Pakistan.
where
Go
every little kid
everywhere
plays
else. Everywhere else. I mean, Morgan Spurlock did his Super Size Me 2 9/11 edition, and what was it? Where in the world is Osama bin Laden? And they're in Afghanistan, and they ask people, where is he? And they all point. And everywhere they go, they all point to the same fucking place as they go down from village to village. Where's Osama bin Laden? He's over there. And he's
Not here.
Not here. We'll take all of your aid and stuff like that. I mean, there are people that it's crappy to think that some people's lives were improved by this, I mean there had to have been villages out there with no communications, no clean drinking water, no regular access to water, no medical aid. You know, they're farming villages. The most they might ever get is like a 3G signal to send a text message to on a clear day on their fucking Nokia dinosaur phones. That might be the most that they might ever be able to communicate with the outside world. And all of a sudden we show up and we revamp, we dig them wells, we provide them with medical care, and we fill their villages with agents looking for people that are fucking with them. And there's stories, I mean, I'm gonna have to say anecdotal right now, but I believe we've heard the stories before of, like, you know, the soldiers come into the community and they're like, yeah, could you help us out? We're getting bombarded with rockets and shot at by insane assholes over there, like, every day. So, and now we've pulled out. And so, like, the only support network those people have, a generation worth, kids have born and had their own families at this point. It's been 20 years, and their entire support network's pulled out, and now they're stuck underneath whatever this regime is going to do, whatever this terrorist cell taking charge.
Well, here's the gist of it, because it's a comedy show.
So we got to make jokes about it. We got to make funny ha-has.
Our entire economy right now is based on petrochemicals, okay? Which we let, for whatever reasons, it was their land and stuff, but 100 years ago, Lawrence, you know, right around Lawrence of Arabia times,
freed the slaves.
I'm just saying, we allowed the Saudis to take over all of the oil-rich regions of the world, and we have had to deal with their backward shit towards women for the last 100 fucking years, okay? Because of that mistake. Now, why I bring that up is because petrochemicals are kind of on their way out, but we have this new Jones to fix, which are rare earth elements. And guess what Afghanistan has discovered while we were there? They don't even call them rare earth elements there. There's so much of it, they're just calling them elements. Okay? And we're going to have to deal with these Taliban fuckers for the next 100 years and their shitty fucking attitudes about women and education and science and everything else, because they're now sitting on this deposit that...
like lithium deposits,
the Soviets, right? The Soviets couldn't do anything with Afghanistan. Now we haven't been able to do anything with Afghanistan. I'm sure the Chinese, even though the Chinese don't really fight wars, that's not really they haven't fought. We've fought a war for 20 years, and then we did a couple more before that. Chinese haven't really fought a war since their own internal revolution. They haven't invaded anybody. You know, they have a big, strong military presence,
50s,
but they
right?
don't have the output that we put out. But you'll see, we've injected the same problem our last century had with oil. We're now going to have with making car batteries with the Taliban. And it'll just be a different group of backwards people. And I'm sorry, there's things that are
save that for the end of the show.
Yeah, don't use all that up too fast.
Well, we can't. We haven't even.
I blame the Flintstones.
It's if Sinclair Gasoline had just used a better marketing strategy in Afghanistan, this never would have happened.
I blame Dynaco.
How likely is it? How likely is it that it's going to be in the next North Korea? And I don't mean that they're going to. Well, I mean they're already getting upset that everybody's trying to fucking leave. Like nobody wants to stick around. There's that great quote the other day: "Don't panic, go back to work." That's great. That's a motivational poster. In fact, I think I'm going to put that up on Pack Slack. It's just that fucking picture and that quote.
Don't worry, go back to work.
Don't panic, go back to work. It's so we have North Korea, which doesn't like it when their people leave, And all they ever do is tell everybody that all of our problems are exacerbated by this continuing war with the United States. And so now we have the Taliban. But, like, North Korea is totally dependent on that relationship to get any funding and to get any money from anybody else. So they cut themselves off on that, and then it's nasty. So now you've got a whole nother group, which... it always seems to be a swinging sentiment. They seem to be anti-Western. We saw that when ISIS went nuts and were smashing toilets in the street. And it's... Yeah, I mean, there was the interview from CNN the other week, and they were telling the woman that she had to cover up, and she didn't need she needed to get off the streets. They're checking her as a journalist. And so, yeah.
Here's the thing, though, and we talked about this a couple weeks ago. This kind of shit's been going on in Afghanistan for 1,000 years. And just because we had better guns and weapons didn't mean anything was going to be different than it was 50 years ago with the Soviets, than it was 100 years ago with the British, than it was 400 years ago with the Persians, than it was 1,000 years ago with Alexander the Great. Basically walled them off, said, yeah, what do I want
basically
with that
the
pile
best
of rock?
carpet makers in history.
Pakistan, I think.
And the drugs.
And the
The
forget
really
the
good
opium.
ones.
Forget the opium wars. Tell me more about the magic carpet bombings.
Oh, and then we've got someone who could possibly be the subgenius of the week. We got a 4chan dumbass went to Afghanistan about a month before the pullout, and now he is stuck there, hiding out in a hotel, hoping that the Taliban doesn't find him. Young man.
They will find him.
Yeah, and they probably will. All these fucking paywalls. I'm trying to get the actual article.
Yeah, come back when you got a little bit more on that. So what? That's that happened in North Korea. That kid they totally fucking broke, and then shipped him back with a breathing tube. They'll do that. They could very well end up using them as just hostages to do nothing. And I've never heard. I thought he took the poster. I saw a documentary a couple of weeks ago where people were saying he was with us. They're saying that the timestamps on the videos aren't matching up with the witness testimony. I didn't know that. I thought that was him taking the poster, but there's people discrediting that were associated with it, saying that no, he was with us. There's no way he could have gotten the poster at that time. So raises even more. I mean, even if he did it, what they did to him is fucking terrible. And that's the entire other fucking side of the world. We have just little staples of sanity over there. I mean, like our biggest staple up to that point is like fucking Japan. That's it. After that, it's just completely fucking insane until you reach like the Eurasian border. Eurasian, I barely know her.
There you go.
You get it?
You
get it? She split up the middle.
So yeah, this college student in the UK, he's about 22 years old. He decides he's going to be a badass and takes a flight to Afghanistan at the beginning of August.
At the beginning of August.
Yeah.
And we had already announced pulling out, right?
I think it was being mumbled, and it would have been announced as soon as he got there.
We knew we were pulling out for months.
Yeah, well, yeah, but
But had we made like
for fucking years?
What had they put down like the final draw date at that point?
Yeah, I'm not sure about the timeline with that.
But it's close.
But it was close,
It
it was looking serious, and it was serious by the time he got there. Like it was.
Must have been a whole lot of legroom on the flight over.
Oh yeah. Oh.
All the peanuts.
He got stuck there for about 10 days, waiting to get onto a flight out. Because everybody's trying to get out. And it was close. He had to hide out in a hotel for a little while.
Yeah, and, there's this whole... Yeah.
He was pissing his pants.
Sure, I've had, when I was going to school, when I was doing media school, one of my instructors was telling me about, shooting in Jerusalem. And that means you're around shootings in Jerusalem. And he had gone up and down to Tel Aviv and the area and along Israel. And he just saw rockets flying over his fucking head. And, there are times where everybody has to get back in the car and they have to pull their head back down. It's just a regular fucking day in certain parts of that. It's not limited just to Gaza Strip. We had somebody who was hanging out here, a friend of the Cube, and they were on those helicopter rides, those that just buzz over the sand to get them out to outposts to do stuff. And there would be farmers making, just taking pot shots at them. Just angry rednecks out there just firing guns off. I mean, have you ever seen a wedding video from out there? First off, I gotta say, as hardcore as X Day is, I will never top a Middle Eastern wedding. That is...
No, nobody can. Nobody can top that.
That is, YOLO. YOLO. When they pop all of their fucking rifles off and it looks like neon raver, there should be EDM playing. Everybody's popping Molly.
Those fucking bullets land somewhere too.
They do. Yeah, there's constantly stories of people that are injured by wedding parties, and they're usually just a couple of miles away.
Yeah, and it happens in Mexico too. People die from it, actually.
Well, Mexico, don't they have that festival where you slam some dynamite on a hammer?
Yeah, that's the best. It's the best.
Dynamite,
they wrap up gunpowder. We did that on the show.
I believe they call it Freedom Day.
Yeah, I think we showed that on the show one time.
Possibly.
It does sound like a good time.
Like they teach the kids. Here's just a little dynamite to start out with in the street.
Yeah, it always point away from your head,
Yeah.
Don't keep your eye on the hammer.
A big empty lot where they've got like a railroad tie, and this guy brings a lunchbox full of gunpowder, sets it on the railroad tie, puts his T-shirt over his face to protect himself, and then slams this fucking thing with a hammer, and the hammer just... It flies up like it. We should show that if we had that. That's good stuff.
By the time I pull it up, I feel like it won't be as relevant anymore. That's the kind of stuff you need on call.
Yeah.
Like, can you get me some videos of people blowing shit up? Which also, big F to Live Leak, everybody. That's totally missing my unfiltered. Nasty cringe videos. I've had to resort to going to other websites to get my cringe fix. But
what happened to the Live Leak?
I'm not sure. I'll give them the big F. But I don't know I don't know if it was just an active decision to go down. I don't believe it was seized. I remember hearing that they were going to go down, and I was like, well, surely somebody will pick up the project. And every link that I follow, no website follows up with that. There's nothing like watching videos of people in wheelchairs falling out, of trains, and then scrolling down the comments to see just hateful rhetoric spewed about everything. It was a magical place.
That's what they get for being a liberal douche-tard.
Woo!
And you're like,
making
what?
the world a better place. I saw a guy with a cancel culture shirt on the other day. Well, it said cancel culture, then it had a big no on it. And
what's that mean?
I guess that was say no to cancel culture.
Canceling culture?
Yeah, so I was anyway, I called him a snowflake. And then I ran out of the Walmart. He did have it. Yeah, he had a nice shirt. So I'm missing out on the shirt market. I'm not marketing to the right kind of people with the pack slack shirts.
Camouflage? I feel that would be
it was a black T-shirt because it's a slimming color, and
That's
It
right,
was
that's
working
Buddy
for
on this
him.
club.
It was working for him. Yeah, the white
why-
T-shirt died in like 1996. That was it. The last white T-shirt. After
Punch
that, you
from,
know, if it's white,
from-
and you know who ruined white T-shirts was the Big Dogs Company. Those guys ruined white T-shirts because only those big muscle-headed, those big muscle-bound freaks with those nubby heads and those thick eyebrows, they'd wear those ringer T-shirts, and it'd be like, around here we don't fuck standing up, you know, shit like that. And it's just a big angry dog pointing at you. He's got like a 10-inch veiny cock in his hand. He's around, you know, spit or swallow, loser. It was. Well, that's why I need Fid here to come up with big dog shirt slogans. That's what we're missing. I'll bring back the white T-shirt. Do you know what I'm talking about? You have to. You were in the military. You had to have known plenty of people with like those crazy macho T-shirts in the 90s. You were on meth.
God.
You probably owned a few.
Oh, and they would say stuff about like, get on the, run with the big dogs or get on
like
the
lead
porch or
follower,
something.
get out of the
Oh,
way.
yeah, that bullshit.
It's that. Yeah, it's that. But it was all a bunch of terrible jokes. Like that, I'm gonna look that up. That's what we have screen share for. Let's just look at it. I forget how to spell dogs. If it's like just D-O-G or if it was like D-A-W-G-Z. It's a little big dogs.
Try normal.
D-O-G-Z.
Type
Big
in
dogs
your
shirt.
American
Yeah,
symbol.
these.
Yeah, those.
These fucking things.
I
am the fear factor. Listen here, bud. America just okay.
That's a good one.
Okay, I think that's somebody on their spread shirt. That's pretty fucking funny. Yeah, big dog dad. Do I look like an ATM? If you can't run with the big dogs, stay on the porch. Now
That's
that
one.
sounds fucking racist. That sounds racist. I don't like that. We're taking it back. Bone cold Steve Poston. Open up a can of woof ass.
Is that why we have all these puppy shows nowadays?
Like Puppy Patrol is just Big Dogs Jr.?
Yeah.
Like, which character on Puppy Patrol comes up and says, all right, guys, the words you're looking for are, what is it? The words you're looking for are, yes, Dad.
Piddles says that.
The words
Piddles the
you're looking for are, yes, Dad. Can you say that? Can you read that sentence?
Yeah, that one doesn't work because there's an implied earlier conversation.
That's it.
You
That's
don't
it.
know
That's like a
anything
dad.
about.
It's got teenage daughters, and he thinks he's really cool and awesome because he's wearing that shirt, and his daughters cringe whenever they fucking friends come
Exactly,
by. Look at what an
exactly.
asshole my dad is.
Yeah. I don't want to
This is
go.
my
I don't want
dad.
to
These
invite
are
my friends over to the
fantastic.
house because you embarrass me,
With those kind of fucking shirts.
right?
You
Like this
thick-
is a guy that
thick-
walks around in the same flip flops all year
Wears his
long.
sunglasses in the gym. You know?
on the back
This
of
is
his
a
head.
guy. This is a guy that drinks your Capri Suns after he bangs your mom.
Yeah.
This is what we should have sent to Afghanistan. This could have empowered people. This
I
kind of
wouldn't mind
attitude.
leaving stuff like this there.
You know, all of those women can make their hijabs out of big dog merchandise now. They can cover their faces and they can run with the big dogs. There was a meme the other day. It was a nun in a habit, and it was just a woman I don't know what they're called. I probably already said something racist because it's not like a hijab. What is it called when you cover your head? What are those called?
There's hijabs or
There's multiple terms for them, right?
There are different multiple terms for the different
You have
kinds of
to-
head coverings.
What is
Well,
the
you-
one? What is the
there's
one
a
where like they
cartoon.
cover everything?
They're called.
Oh.
called.
What is the one
Mahadi.
where they cover absolutely everything?
Ninja.
That's a Mahadi.
That's racist. That's a what now? A hamacho?
A Mahadib.
Does that come with dip?
Oh, it comes with dunes.
Dooner for two. Yeah, but I mean, think about this. You know, everybody in Afghanistan, they can film Afghanistan on location for the upcoming Dune sequels. That'll fit in just fine. They just got to CGI a couple of blue eyes on some people.
You can see the
Just get a couple hands full of ketamine and just like throw powdered ketamine into the wind.
Okay, so there's
Play Darude Sandstorm.
we have
the back
more
page variety
than,
ad now.
Types of Islamic veils. Can you send me that link?
Yeah,
Can you
I'll send that to you.
help me to be less racist today?
We're gonna send you a picture.
See, it's okay that I'm racist now because I admitted that I am. So it's like I'm a recovering alcoholic. I'm a recovering racist. I'm coaxing with these things. I'm working with them. Oh, and I'm just getting word from. Okay, yeah. Line this up. That was the other cube news tonight. We'll just get. There was a Rubik's Cube show tonight, and we were going to try and use them for our intermission. So I just got a. Oh, they're going to be starting later, so we won't be able to live stream any of the Rubik's Cube during the main show tonight. But I believe Aster 6 sent me that thing. Did you send me a thing? Oh, okay. I don't know how this works.
Scroll down just a little bit.
Slow down, everybody. I'm carrying a sharp Microsoft Edge here.
A little bit more.
Okay, so Amine exists. This is great. That's power and diversity right there. That's stunning and brave. Immediately. I think I might be dyslexic too, Peas. Types of Islamic veils. The Shayla, I knew a girl like that. The hijab, which is okay, so that's a Shayla minus the neck scarf, and then the hijab amira, which is the. See, now I'm gonna get in trouble because I'm gonna describe what I see, and I'm just making like loose associations here, but people are gonna be like, "How dare you? How dare you?"
It's a tighter fit.
That's like the swimming cap. Like this is for the aerodynamic. This is for those the villages where they constantly have to run.
It's like making fun of turbans. That's
the chimera, the chimera. This has kind of got like the dragon folds down here. Then we have the chador. So this is the obviously this is like it's not though. It's not the chaddest of what we've got here. And then the niqab. What do you say, Peas? Niqab.
I can't really
I thought you couldn't write a Q without a U.
The Arabics made the wise decision to skip it.
I know. And the burqa, which is the
ultra covering.
It's the salt and pepper shaker outfit.
Yeah, that's it.
So yeah, I was right. Burqa's made out of big dogs. We can call it burqa dogs. So we'll
some sort of bizarre beef hot dog.
Burqa dogs. They're halal. You know,
now with
100% halal beef. and we will sponsor the burqa company, and so we'll do burqa dogs, and then we'll have we'll have empowering messages for those people, like freedom isn't free unless you're me, because you're paying for it every day. But they live in a free society. That was the thing. It was the meme was a nun in a habit and a woman in what I guess is a hijab. And they're like, if you can't see the difference between this, all I can see is that you're a bigot. Something like that. I was like, well, one's kind of like a voluntary thing, and then the other one is like legally mandated no matter what, no matter where you are. That's the big difference I see between that. People want to do their own thing, they do their own thing, but they can't make the decision to not do that and face consequences.
What's the name of that guy who makes some real douchebag jeans and shirts?
Tommy Hilfiger?
No, it's like they're all dragons.
That sounds like a slur. Come over here, you Hilfiger.
Ed Hardy.
Oh yeah, the surfer.
So imagine if you
we can get a bunch of tie-dye burqas and
you woke up
pictures of tattoo guns.
Listen, this could happen, especially
I'm
in
so
Florida.
tough, I got a t-shirt with a picture of a tattoo gun on it.
Where everyone would have to wear Ed Hardy attire. Or it would be a sin against God. or Governor DeSantis. So just think about it. These poor women are being repressed, but you too could be repressed by being forced to wear Ed Hardy jeans and one of them
Steam
dragon
press.
shirts. That would be you would have to wear it. Like you'd walk out in the street and people would stop and point at you, like in Scanners. He's wearing Ocean Pacific. Where's your Ed Hardy?
Was that Scanners? I thought that was Body Snatchers.
It's Body Snatchers.
Body
Or it could
Snatchers.
be like some guy's trying to.
But it's
squeeze
like
bodies
Scanners
and
because
stare
when you
at
point and
terrorists.
do that, somebody's head blows up.
Yeah.
We'll have to line our streets with saran wrap. That's David
there'll be a good
Cronenberg's wet
mashup.
dream. It's just a world of saran wrap.
The mashup of Body Snatchers and Scanners would be great because the Body Snatchers would snatch a body, and then the head would blow up, and they'd be like, "Fuck!
Yeah,
why does this keep
good.
happening?"
Yeah, there's a conflict of interest there.
Well, it's because there's two groups competing.
Alien
We would know
versus
it, the
Predator.
Scanner people.
No matter who
would
wins, we
know about
lose.
The Body Snatchers.
'Cause they're making another movie.
I think that was the tagline on the poster.
Whoever wins, we lose.
Yeah, something up to that effect.
Yeah, vote 2020. Aliens versus Predator. They filmed that in Las Vegas because that's a city of dreams. What was your favorite part of the Predator Alien fight franchise? I like the part where Freddy Krueger came out and he was like, "Yeah, I'm a monster, bitch!" And he slashes the alien open. It's like, "Ah!" That was my favorite part. Jason's just lugging around that big fucking knife. It's not a sword, it's a knife. It's only got one sharp edge.
Isn't it a machete?
I don't
It's a
understand.
machete. A machete's
I
a
didn't
knife,
understand.
right?
It's a big
It's
knife.
a big knife. It's not a sword.
Yeah.
It's sword-like.
You got one alien kicking the shit out of all these other people in these other movies. Just one, okay? And then all of a sudden you're in Antarctica and there's 10,000 of these things and you're killing them all with a piece of the tail of one of them and a little piece of his skull hat. And you're somehow pulling that shit off with one other lizard guy. I'm not buying it. It was hard for me to put aside my...
There's too many lizardmen in those movies to begin with.
Yeah.
That's the
And then
problem.
all of a sudden we're friends now? You were hunting me a
Yeah,
little
you're
while
talking
ago,
about
now
the
you
yeah.
got-
Which one was that? That was like the because they did multiple Alien versus Predator movies, right? They did several of those, at least two.
At least two.
thought they
but I
did
think
just
only
the
two.
one.
And then they moved on to Predators, which was kind of interesting, where it was a abduction movie, and they wake up and now they're being hunted by multiple
It's
predators.
the most dangerous game, but it's with predators on their predator planet.
Yes.
So they're being a little bit more eco-friendly. They're bringing people in.
Yeah, they're insourcing their hunt. They are on the hunt planet. It was pretty. I actually kind of enjoyed it.
The one
It
I
was a simple
remember
idea,
was
and they stuck with it.
What back of a
they
headrest
got
did you watch
this
that
big
movie
temple
on?
in Antarctica.
I saw.
I think it was on the ship.
Yeah, I saw
It might have been on the
Battleship.
boat.
I saw the movie
Oh my
Battleship.
god, I did too.
I had to see it. I watched it 3 times. They had it on. I was on a bus trip. I was on a bus trip to a convention. So I was going with my school, and they played Battleship 3 fucking times.
Oh, it's
3
so
times.
bad.
Oh my god.
Is it a good movie?
No.
It's fantastic for like Dr. Lobo says, there are no bad movies. They're just misunderstood. And so, there's gonna be an appreciation for them for being in their own categories, and that's where I've been wanting to review a movie again. If you haven't gone to timefortheshow.com before, you can read movie reviews that I was doing for a while, and I got a couple in, and I had a scoring metric. Like I'd like to review a movie again, and the way I was going about it was I found like the top 20 grossing films of the past couple of years. So I was just going after box office stuff. And they were kind of old. And then like the most current one I did was Sonic the Hedgehog. And so that was like, 15 years ago now. But I sat down and I watched Sonic the Hedgehog, and I had to write a review about it. And with a lot of these movies, There's ways that depending on how these movies are made, they don't mean for them to be bad movies. But some movies they're made and it's not that they make them out to be bad movies. They make them and they just don't fucking care. And then there's this weird respect that people like regarding Tommy Wiseau as like an Art Nouveau or an avant-garde filmmaker, and no, he's just a fucking vanity project. He's dumping money in so he can call himself a director. There's nothing to those fucking movies.
Yeah, no.
They're absolute messes. What's so fantastic about it is the people that make it say it's the greatest film ever made. And which I guess you're supposed to do when you make it. You should stand by. But I mean, if that wasn't true, then we wouldn't have Alan Smithy. And if you're not familiar, are you familiar with Alan Smithy?
Thank you. I was actually trying to think of that name the other day when describing some other movie.
So when a director is deciding that he's not going to sign his name on that film, he'll put Alan Smithy or some other pseudonym.
They know it's a money project.
They just kind of step in.
It's almost always Alan Smith.
And sometimes it's done because they got a good director who doesn't want the film to write on his name. Sometimes it's done as a goodwill gesture towards the film.
Yeah, sometimes
but other times it's a warning.
Yeah.
It's a warning.
Beware.
This way be
You can't knock Ed Wood for not having a blast doing what he was doing.
Well, that's what the beauty of his
and that's
films.
They're fun. They're fun movies, and they're
meant it.
They're goofy but they're trying. They try. And even though they come off as just horrible and lazy, what they are is they're cost effective.
What movie did you make?
What movie did you make? I made one 5-minute short film.
But I didn't mean
17 years ago, and then within the past 15 years, I've only gotten like maybe 5 to 10 minutes of film works to present over that period of time. And most of that was paid by other people. It's ridiculous. It's an involved process, and we
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Getting Bela Lugosi to show up because we got Bela Lugosi. There we go. We got him. Him.
Done. I'm making a movie.
We're doing X Day.
He got some awesome people to do the role. It's just he never had the money.
But those movies are you can still really appreciate them. And then you have something like Battleship, which is
they wanted to be Top Gun so bad.
They wanted, but you can't build the story on any two fucking characters. It's all about the fucking alien attack. They sank our battleship, sir.
They really did.
They set up a laser grid. There's a grid. They play fucking Battleship in the movie, aliens versus humans. And somebody had to sit down and write this, and they're like, this is going to be the shining point of my career. Because you've already got a toy company offering to put up the production budget. I just saw a movie the other day for a G.I. Joe hero movie. So it's going to be a G.I. Joe movie specializing on one G.I. Joe. So how likely now we're going to get the G.I. Joe cinematic universe, and that will be Hasbro's entry into the ring. So they'll have the G.I. Joe universe. There's a Hanna-Barbera universe. Did you know that? Warner Brothers has rebooted Scooby-Doo and everybody. And there was already we did see that. Did you watch that one with me, Scoob? That's the all CGI Scooby-Doo movie, and it crosses over into other series like almost immediately.
Why is there no HR Puffin stuff? Why is there no Sigmund and the Sea Monsters?
There is a Sigmund and the Sea Monsters. It came out a few years ago. There's a movie.
Oh.
There is a Sigmund and the Sea Monsters movie.
Yeah, didn't we get that with like HBO or something?
We got that with Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
That was our punishment, was Sigmund and the Sea Monsters.
Oh yeah.
What about Lidsville? I'd like to see a new Lidsville.
Lidsville?
Yeah.
They can shoot that out South California now, no problem. No
You don't
references.
remember Lidsville? That was Marty Crofts and fuck, who did those?
It was a Sid and Marty Krofft show. It was short-lived.
Marty
They were
Krofft. Short-lived. I think about 8 episodes. It came up before Puff and Stuff, called Lidsville. You fell into this dude's hat. Everybody there was
the talking hats, weren't they?
They were all hats, man. And then Puff and Stuff was great. Puff and Stuff was
I never
just
actually
brilliant.
saw that.
I think Puffin. Well, Land of the Lost got a reboot in the '90s.
I did see that.
That was great.
That was a really
That
good
was
show.
great.
That was fun.
But I remember I saw Puff and Stuff on like Nick at Night reruns and stuff like that. But it was
Puff and Stuff.
Never
Who's
saw it.
gonna give da-da?
I've seen
Puff and
reference
Stuff.
clips, but I've never seen any of the show.
it's fucking weird.
It's like when you played that one movie about the oh crud! It's the giant dancing bear show thing.
But Collins Bear animation.
No. It was a animatronic bears in a stage show.
Animatronic bears
No,
in a stage show.
That horror movie you showed me.
Oh, the Banana Splits.
Yes!
The Banana
I
Splits
had never
movie.
seen that. I thought it was made up for the movie, and then you showed me it was an actual thing.
Yeah, you didn't know. She didn't know about the Banana Splits.
I'd never seen that.
They're little buggies.
Oh, the Banana Splits was the best.
Did you see the movie?
No.
They did a Five Nights at Freddy's movie with the Banana Splits, where
It was good.
they're robot characters in banana split costumes going around and murdering people at night. It's
Oh, I might saw that. I might have saw that. I might have been pissed off that they ruined the fucking.
it's
Splits.
weird. I didn't get how that tied in. Like the only way it would have worked, because I know that. Are you familiar with Five Nights at Freddy's and how like every 14-year-old on the planet has been obsessed with it for the past 30 years?
No.
It is okay. So it's like a flash game, and you're in a little room, and these showbiz pizza monsters are walking around, and if they catch you, they kill you. And so the game is waiting in this room and having to open and close doors, and if you don't do it the right way, they pop up and they scare the shit out of you. And it's a little strategy game, but the kids love it. And they've made 5 or 6 versions of this. There are toys available. There's a clothing line available. So very easily, they could have made. It's exactly the same premise of the Banana Splits movie. Where did that fall through that they couldn't license Five Nights at Freddy's? Because they could have made so much fucking money. Because it would have been a gory movie for kids. That must have been it. They couldn't. They never would have been able to sell it. There's no, because what was the Banana Splits movie? That had to have been an R. There's no way that could have been PG-13.
No, they eviscerated somebody.
That was was it not rated? Well, it was just a web, because it was a web release only or something like that. There was no theatrical release. But what was the rating for the Banana Splits movie? I'm going to look that up right now. Banana Splits movie.
Well, while you do that,
rating.
I'm going to start my apologies because I'm going to have to step away.
Oh man! Wow, you did a whole show, Peas.
Yeah.
And you're going to quit already? We're on to so much good stuff.
I'm on call and I just got a buzz. So.
Oh no, Peas! You're ruining the show. Well, go ahead and apologize, Peas, and I'll talk to the kids before we go.
Well, kids, here's a good show talking about a lot of all nostalgic stuff. And if you realize, we started our nostalgic rounds with nostalgically thinking about the 70s when they were nostalgic about the 50s. And then we were sorry because we realized it really wasn't true, that in the 70s they were nostalgic for the 50s, but imagine the 50s in its like kind of 70s way. From that, we nostalgic on to the 90s, where they did a show about the 70s. And then we felt that the 90s show about the 70s was truer to the actual period of the 70s, but it kind of transgressed a little bit into the 80s. And then, though, they did have a show about the 80s, but no one watched that show, so we didn't talk about it. And then we reminisced some more about the Taliban and how great they are going to be and how everything is going to be awesome in the future now that they control all the elements that we need for our whole new electric car infrastructure. And we're sorry about that because, like I said earlier, just as soon as we were going to get rid of the Saudis, now we got to have to deal with these guys. So I'm sorry, but that's the way the world works, and that's the way the cookie crumbles. Then we nostalged about some other cartoons and stuff that we used to watch, like the Slee Stacks and the Huff and Puffs and the HR Huff and Stuffs. And don't you think like J.K. Rowling like stole some of her ideas from HR Puff and Stuff? I mean, if you really take a look around at the characters in that show, you'll see that, and I think you'll see a big comparison to the Harry Potter universe. We also talked about G.I. Joe's coming out with a new movie, Rambo 47, The Untold Story of Cobra 15. And that's going to be an exciting challenge to direct. We talked about the nuances of Alan N. Smithy's work throughout, all films. Is one of the most prolific directors there are. And we're sorry if you don't know the joke that we're making right there. But that was pretty much our show. It's a different show like they always are. And we're sorry it's over. Oh, and if you get a chance, you got to check out Lidsville.
Big shout outs to our Patreonies and our sponsor, of course, Lord Ferg of Triology Soaps, available at packslack.com. Get your orders in now. You can meet Lord Ferg at the Rubik's Cube show this weekend, the September, Saturday the 4th at the Funhouse in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Find out more about them Rubik's Cube on Facebook. Big shout outs to the Patreonies, Dr. Cosmac, Caller 23, Apostle X Fenord, Calsoft, Scalpod, Bob South, Reverend 80, Trenchy, Hazel of the Windmills, who does the music for the intro loops, Michael Marcus, Negative at Night, Thursdays on freethinkradio.com, Long Dead, Agent Lloyd, Reverend Loch Ness of Rubik's Cube, and Subject T Change, our new creamed corn level member. Woo! Oh yeah, so we got to do his fortune and his Bible verse on the first of the month. Billing cycles, everybody. If you would like to support independent farce, well then why don't you do yourself a favor? Head on over to patreon.com/hypercube or head to packslack.com and get yourself a Jim Dandy of a doodad. We'll send it to you in the mail. I'm Dr. Fox. You can find out more about Time for the Show at timefortheshow.com. Join our Discord. Peas, you got anything for the kids before we go?
Peppers are spicy.
You heard it straight from the horse's juicy vulva lips. See you next week, everybody, on Time for the Show. It's the show. It's the show.
Later, my buddies. I gotta go make a call.
Get out of here. Go on.